Hey guys, Andy here from Mediocre Hobbies coming at you with more Legions Imperialis content. As you know, I've been working hard to try and get as many videos out as humanly possible to help you guys in your journey into getting into this awesome game system. So I've given you videos on how to paint the infantry for Space Marines and for Solar Auxilia, how to paint some tanks. I still have to do some Solar Auxilia tank videos and stuff like that, and I will get to it, as well as some scenery videos. But what I thought I'd focus on today is basing. So the basing on these miniatures is really nice. They give you these nice pressed plastic designed bases. And I'm going to show you guys in today's video how to paint them in 3 epic ways. Super quick, super effective, and you'll be able to bash them all out for your army very, very quickly. Before I get into the video, I just have 2 quick messages. One, thank you patrons, you guys are amazing. Cannot be doing this without you guys, so from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. If you're interested in getting involved in that, there's links to it below in the descriptions. You get access to things like a private Discord server and an extra video every single week just for you. So some behind the scenes stuff or some extra painting videos and stuff like that. So 52 extra videos a year I think is pretty cool. Just to know the patron, if you are thinking about joining, please ignore the free option. There's no benefit to it at all for both you and me. I don't know why it's there. And 2, I am trying to challenge myself to try and get to 40,000 subscribers by the end of 2023. So we're in December now. For me, it is the 4th of December now, and we are steamrolling towards our goal. So if you're interested in helping me get there, please hit that subscribe button and get involved. Thank you guys so much for listening to me rant on for a few minutes. Now let's get into painting some bases. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to show you guys 3 distinctive schemes to help you get your Legion Imperialis bases done fast and get your armies on the table. So these are the 3 bases that I've got. All I've done is spray them all black. Have them attached to little painting handles just to make it easier for this whole process. Now, in my videos already, I showed you guys sponging all the colors on for the bases that I did. For this particular video, I'm going to show you how to use with a brush. Obviously, a lot of you guys might not be comfortable with the idea of sponging. And obviously, a lot of people are comfortable with brushes. So Artiso was very kindly sent me out their new extended range of Series D brushes. It's basically the same range as before, except they put another size in between every size, which is very helpful. There's some very good size in there. I can't wait to actually get stuck in and properly use these on a bigger project. But for now, I'm just going to grab one of their newer sizes. I think I grabbed the medium plus or the large plus. I actually can't really tell which one I grabbed. And I'm going to use that for this technique. So I'm going to be using the stipple technique, which I used the Artisobus brushes for before for painting tanks and stuff. And I'm going to start with Xandri dust for the first one. So I'm going to be going for the same kind of colors I went for my personal bases that I've been using in all my videos so far. I've shown off this technique in 2 videos already, but like I said, I use the sponging technique. With this one, I'm going to use the Artisobus brush. And as you can see, I just loaded it up like a dry brush, remove large quantities of the paint, and I just basically stipple it on. As you can see, it leaves the darkness and all the shadows and crevices, and it's not fully opaque. I'm not trying to get this solid coat of color. I want to leave it kind of mottled and leave some of the previous color shining through, even the black and stuff, just to make it look like a more natural textured surface, as opposed to just like a flat color, which would be if I just used the a normal kind of brush stroke with it. After that, I jumped up to Screaming Skull with the same basic idea, except less now. So we're going to be dialing it back by about kind of 30% on the amount of paint that we want to apply, which means that there'll be, I don't know, 30% of the paint showing through from the previous layer and like 70% coverage with the Screaming Skull. As you can see, it is giving that effect, that nice textured. You can kind of see the transition of colors through the paint scheme, which I think is super important, and it is going to make all the difference. I talked in my video on Saturday the kind of expectations of this game system, that bases are actually going to make things they're going to be a little bit more important than a standard bases in a normal Warhammer armies, because the miniatures are so small. You're not really going to be paying attention to them so much. So when you look down on a squad of 5 Space Marines standing on a little base, the base is going to be super important. And as you can see, I jumped up to Wraithbone for the last stage. And once again, dialing that back again. So there's only about kind of 40% coverage on that. And afterwards, I just give the re-tidy up the base rim with black, just to make it nice and neat and tidy. And that will finish off the basing for me. Like, that's one beautiful base done. All I would do is stick 5 models on top of that now. Well, 5 Marines or 5 Solar Auxilia. And it's going to look fantastic. One of the tricks to notice is there is a bit of like ground texture between the legs of most of the miniatures that you're gluing down. So with this, I usually pick the medium color. So for instance, this will be the Screaming Skull, and I just paint that in, and then I glue the models down. It helps to blend the models into the base as standard. Jumping into the next color scheme, I'm going to be once again grabbing a base that's already been sprayed jet black. And this time I'm going to go for that kind of bluey gray scheme that a lot of 40k is known for. It's been used on painting buildings and stuff for a long time, so I'm going to start with that. So Inky by Darkness is the first color. And once again, for all these bases, I'm going to be following the same technique, which is that same stippling technique across the surface. Once again, going for kind of majority coverage, which is a little bit of black showing through, and then kind of like 70% coverage, and then like 40% coverage. And that will leave, like I said, nice textured variance in the bases. Now, some of them are going to show up a lot more, and some of them are going to show up a lot less. It all depends on what 3 colors you decide to choose, kind of go through your scheme. So if you've got other color schemes in mind, then just think of, once again, that kind of triad of color. Maybe if you're on an old derelict manufactorum planet or something like that, maybe you're going to go for rusty floors and stuff like that. I think that would really work well for things like Death Guard. Or once again, if you're going for proper interior of the Imperial Palace, you might want to try and do like proper marbling technique. That would be maybe what Custodes go on. I have a feeling we'll get Custodes in the game system at some point soon. It's just my guess, but I hope so. Thunderhawk Blue. Now, obviously, in that particular showcase there, I do apologize. I forgot to say Stegodon Scale Green and show Stegodon Scale Green. That was the medium color for this kind of bluey stage. And I apologize for not showing it. I got carried away with the kind of blue ground that I'm trying to achieve here. My actual personal board that I'm going to do using the Legion Imperialis gaming tiles, I'm going to do the first color scheme for all of the ground texture, and then the road texture, I'm going to do this blue color. So I'm going to use actually both of these schemes for that, and I think it's going to look really, really cool. Which means if you really want to play into it with these bases, for instance, this particular base here, I think it's supposed to be like a curb with a bit of the road and a bit of the other one. So you could do the top bit with the, for instance, the first scheme, that kind of marbly white scheme, tape it off, and then there's a blue scheme for the road, just to have some proper variation. I think that would be super, super cool. Now, not all of them have that kind of bit of road and bit of sidewalk in the same thing, but either way, I think it's cool. Last one I'm going to go for is a nice dark gray scheme. So we're going to start with Skaven Blight Dinge for this. And once again, going through the motions of stippling it on with the dark gray scheme. Like I said, leaving lots of texture. Now, the thing about this is, some of these bases aren't going to turn out great, but it's okay. Once again, like Legion Imperialis Infantry, it's supposed to be seen in huge swarms of these things. There's going to be 50 of these bases kind of clumped together in a battlefield with miniatures on top of them. So you're not going to see every little iota of a mistake. Like I'm demonstrating one singular base at a time, which means I can give it a little bit more love and attention that is required. You'll be batch painting these things 20 bases at a time. So you're not going to have a million hours to spend making sure that each little pressure is perfect and each little stab is perfect. It's fine. Just follow the process all the way through, and once you put the models on top of it, it's going to be great. Now, another reason why I think it's super important to show you different kind of colored versions of the bases is the idea that you should try and pick something that's complementary to your army. So for instance, although I've gone for my kind of white pale color scheme already, it was probably a mistake for my Imperial Fists. The bright yellow with the sandy bases, I don't think complement each other very well. I think they should have probably gone on the second basing scheme I showed you, that bluey scheme. I think that would have made the yellow scream and pop even more. By the time I had realized this, I'd already committed and had like 20 bases done. So unfortunately, I'm not willing to go back and change them all. But for you guys, maybe it is something you need to consider, be super conscious about, is making sure you pick the right complementary color base to go alongside with your army. And like I said, going back to the nice, neat black rim, which tidies up the base at the end and makes it look really nice. With this particular one, I went a little heavy-handed. That's why I talked about everything not being so perfect. So I did actually go back in with a little bit of black paint, and I just redefined those lines in the base. It only took me a second. As you can see, I just carefully painted it down. Obviously, there's a little bit of overspill, but all I did was wipe that away with my finger as the paint was kind of quite watery, which tidied it up nicely and gave me a nice, tidied, finished result. Nice, sharp lines. And done. Super happy with that. Like I said, it'll look fantastic with some models on it. And these are the 3 basing schemes that I've given you guys in this particular video. And like I will ask you at the end of this video, if there are more that you want to see, you think might help you out, I could do a couple of metallic schemes maybe. Or I could show you guys how to texture over these and do things like earth and grass or Martian or those kind of things. So I can show you how to use these bases, but once again, adding texture and other bits and pieces to them if you want them to stand out a little bit more from the standard thing. So just let me know, guys. I'm more than happy to make more content around bases for you guys. Okay guys, and there we have it. I've given you 3 basing schemes. We've done our kind of like marble one, we've done our kind of a dark bluey one, and we have done our concrete grey one. So these hopefully will help you guys get your miniatures on the table super quick and super easy. If there's any more basing schemes that you wish to do, I am more than happy to make a second video doing another 3 different variants if none of these caught your eye. So if that's something you guys think you would like to see, please let me know in the comments below. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a like, ask me any questions you want in the comments below, and make sure you're subscribed. Thank you so much for sticking around at the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one.